Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next hour, Narendra Modi to take oath as India's Prime Minister for a historic third consecutive term. South Asian and African leaders begin arriving in New Delhi for Narendra Modi's inauguration. European Parliament election to conclude on Sunday. It will shape the 27-nation bloc's future for next 5 years. And India to play against Pakistan in the ICC Men's T20 Cricket World Cup on Sunday. Prime Minister designate Narendra Modi will create history on Sunday when he takes the oaths of office and secrecy for a third consecutive term. Modi will become only the second Prime Minister in India's history to do so after Jawaharlal Nehru in 1962. The country's democracy has matured into a multi-party system.
On the 9th of June 2024, history will be made. It will be the first time in 62 years that an Indian Prime Minister takes oath for a third consecutive term.
प्रधानमंत्री जवाहरलाल नेहरू 3 बार वो भी प्रधानमंत्री हुए थे और उसके 62 साल बाद ये प्रक्रिया दोहराई जा रही है। इस 62 साल में हिंदुस्तान में कितनी राजनीतिक परिपक्वताएं आई, कितनी कॉम्प्लिकेशंस आए, क्या-क्या यहाँ का वातावरण बना।
National Democratic Alliance leaders have expressed their unwavering support to Prime Minister Modi as he sets into motion a third term at the helm of an NDA government. MPs, both youthful and seasoned, look forward to the next 5 years.
फ्लोर लीडर की एक जिम्मेदारी है, वो जिम्मेदारी के साथ जो है हम लोग काम करेंगे, सभी एमपीज को साथ में लेके सभी पार्टीज से जो है समन्वय रखकर।
सच में एक हिस्टोरिकल मोमेंट है, इसलिए सारे देश से कार्यकर्ता आने के लिए बहुत ही उत्सुक है। सबको हम एकोमोडेट नहीं कर पा रहे। बंगाल से भी हजारों की संख्या में कार्यकर्ता यहाँ पे आना चाहते हैं। मोदी जी को तीसरी बार के लिए प्रधानमंत्री का शपथ लेते हुए देखना चाहते हैं।
Not only in West Bengal, BJP leaders in Kerala have expressed confidence that the southern state has now opened its doors wide to the BJP.
It was a game-changer election this time. The 7 decades bipolar politics now turned to tripolar. And moreover, we have increased our vote share to 20%. Comfortable victory in Trichur, got 1 MP, and Attingal, Trivandrum, Alapi and many constituencies, we crossed 3. Our vote share has increased. So this was a game-changer election. People accepted Narendra Modi's development politics.
With world leaders from India's neighbourhood scheduled to attend the event, Delhi police have set up a control room on Kartavya Path, the historic road that joins India Gate to Rashtrapati Bhavan. On June 9 evening at Rashtrapati Bhavan, Prime Minister Modi, followed by his Council of Ministers, will also take their oaths of office and secrecy, forming the new cabinet and political executive of the Government of India. Bureau Report, DD India.
And ahead of the swearing-in ceremony, Prime Minister designate Narendra Modi visited Rajghat in New Delhi. Mr. Modi paid homage to Mahatma Gandhi. The memorial is dedicated to the father of the nation. It marks the spot where the Mahatma was cremated on 31st January 1948. It consists of an eternal flame. Prime Minister designate Narendra Modi also paid homage to Atal Bihari Vajpayee, a former Prime Minister of India, at the Sadaiv Atal Memorial in New Delhi. Mr. Modi also paid tributes to the fallen soldiers at National War Memorial in New Delhi, along with the Chief of Defence Staff, General Anil Chauhan, and service chiefs. The Prime Minister later signed the visitors' book at the memorial. And joining me from New Delhi is my colleague Vishal Barrister. Vishal, good morning to you. Talk to us a bit more, if you will, about the Prime Minister's engagements in New Delhi.
Well, a very good morning to you, Ramesh. Indeed, it's a historic day because Prime Minister designate would be sworn in as the Prime Minister of the country for the third consecutive time. It would be history in the making, and that would happen later in the day, to be precise, 7:15 IST in the evening. Today, the day started off with paying homage to the father of the nation at the Rajghat by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, followed by his homage at the Sadaiv Atal, and then to the fallen soldiers at the National War Memorial. So it's been a very clear message by Prime Minister Narendra Modi that he's going to carry forward all the principles of the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, whether it is cleanliness or whether it is serving the poor, and then homage for his leader and also former Prime Minister of the country, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, how much he respects him, and then to the fallen soldiers, this shows his love for his country and also for his armed forces. 11:30 in the day IST, those who have been invited for the swearing-in ceremony, all those people from different political parties are invited by the Prime Minister for a cup of tea, and then in the evening there would be the swearing-in ceremony. So the day is full of hectic activities, and the world is looking at India with a lot of hope, especially from the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is designate PM designate, I beg your pardon, but would be sworn in as the Prime Minister once again.
And looking ahead, Vishal, what more can you tell us about government formation?
Well, Ramesh, this is going to be a rather tricky situation because this time the NDA is going to play a major role, and all the allied partners of the BJP, including the Telugu Desam Party, the Janata Dal United, who have 16 and 12 seats in the parliament, and also Chirag Paswan's party, Lok Janshakti Party, with 5 seats. So they would be given entry into the government, and it is going to be a mixed government at this time. But the Prime Minister designate has been chosen as the leader of the NDA by the allied partners. This gives a lot of hope for a stable government at the center. Also, the Delhi, the Rashtrapati Bhavan, I beg your pardon, has been, the security has been beefed up there. It's a no-fly zone. Even the UAVs and the paragliders are not allowed there. Delhi police has laid a 3-tier security for the event. And all of them, all the political leaders from different political parties have been invited for the show.
And last but not the least, Vishal, before we let you go, who all are expected to attend the inauguration?
Well, apart from the political party leaders, we are expecting a crowd of a strength of around 8,000 people. That would include the Padma awardees. We have this honor, Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan. So they would be coming, and also Padma Shri awardees would also be coming, joining them. Then also the cleanliness workers. Prime Minister has always been laying a lot of stress on the cleanliness drive across the nation ever since he took over the reins in 2014. So the Swachhata Grahis, who are responsible for maintaining cleanliness at the public places, are also invited in this event. Prime Minister making it very clear that he follows the principle of Mahatma Gandhi in spirit, also because Mahatma Gandhi said cleanliness is godliness. So all these people would be invited, apart from the leaders from the neighboring countries and also the political leaders within the country.
So as Vishal is reporting there, the Prime Minister has invited his Council of Ministers designate for a cup of tea at 11:30 in the morning local time, and his inauguration will take place at 7:15 p.m. local time on Sunday. Vishal, thank you, appreciate it. That was Vishal Barrister reporting there from New Delhi. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Rashtrapati Bhavan, the residence of India's president, is decked up for the inauguration ceremony. A sand art of Narendra Modi draws visitors to a beach at Puri in Odisha. And India's National Testing Agency says the National Eligibility cum Entrance Test Undergraduate 2024 was transparently conducted and that its question papers had not been leaked.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
मैं नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूं, भारत के संविधान के प्रति सच्ची श्रद्धा और निष्ठा रखूंगा। मैं नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी संघ के प्रधानमंत्री के रूप में अपने कर्तव्यों का श्रद्धापूर्वक और शुद्ध अंतःकरण से निर्वहन करूंगा। पहली 3 इकोनॉमीज में एक नाम भारत का होगा। मेरे शरीर का हर कण, मेरे समय का हर क्षण देश को ही समर्पित है। देश का विश्वास पक्का हो गया है कि अब भारत की विकास यात्रा रुकने वाली नहीं है।
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Now, South Asian and African leaders would attend Modi's inauguration in New Delhi on Sunday evening local time. It reflects India's policies of Neighbourhood First and security and growth for all in the region. Anu Kaushik has more.
The stage is all set for the swearing-in ceremony of Narendra Modi as India's Prime Minister for a third historic term. Keeping in line with the country's Neighbourhood First policy, leaders from India's neighbourhood will be attending the event in New Delhi on Sunday. Maldives President Mohammad Muizzu, Seychelles Vice President Ahmed Afif, Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, Mauritius PM Pravind Kumar Jugnauth, Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe, Nepal PM Pushp Kamal Dahal, and Bhutan PM Tshering Tobgay. The leaders will also be attending a banquet hosted by President Draupadi Murmu at the Rashtrapati Bhavan the same evening. The presence of regional leaders at the oath-taking ceremony will also highlight India's sagar or Security and Growth for All in the Region vision, which focuses on maritime cooperation in the Indian Ocean region. This is not the first time Neighbourhood First gained paramount importance at high-profile official events in India. In 2014, heads of state from South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation or SAARC nations attended the ceremony in which Narendra Modi took oath as India's PM for the first time. Leaders from BIMSTEC or the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation were present at Modi's swearing-in ceremony in 2019. Anu Kaushik for DD India.
And Jessica Taneja joins us from New Delhi for more. Jessica, what explains the choice of countries invited to the inauguration?
Well, let's take a look back at the past decade, Ramesh. You remember in 2014 when the first swearing-in ceremony of the Prime Minister-led NDA government. Well, in that case, the countries from SAARC were invited, but due to differences, due to Pakistan's continued support for terrorism, SAARC didn't see the light of day beyond that. And in 2019, it was the BIMSTEC countries, or the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation. And that seemed to have gained ground because BIMSTEC would have, in fact, does have most of the South Asian countries, including some Southeast Asian countries as well. And this time, if you see with the Neighbourhood First policy, India has reiterated that it's giving all the importance at this point and has in the past to its neighbours, particularly look at Bangladesh, Nepal, Mauritius, Maldives for that fact, and Seychelles. These are important countries, and talking about Mauritius, Malaysia and Seychelles, particularly part of the Indian Ocean Rim Association, which India has been advocating and, doing a lot of initiatives under the Indian Ocean Rim Association as well. And you'd recall back in the day when one of the keynote events of the event, the Prime Minister had highlighted on how important, it is to have maritime security cooperation and also other military drills that have taken place under the initiative, including the likes of Australia and Japan, that is under the Sagar initiative. So a lot of importance given to how the cooperation in the Indo-Pacific region or the Indian Ocean region, and particularly also to the effect where countries like Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan continue to be close allies.
Now that said, Jessica, the Prime Minister, we are given to understand, will hit the ground running literally in his third term. What does his itinerary look like in the coming days?
Well, likely there was an invite to the G7 summit in Italy, and details of that will be put forth, but so far that is one of the key events to look forward to happening in Italy, and also the SCO summit and the BRICS as well. So I think in terms of what is to come ahead, there is a lot to prioritize, but that will be too speculative at this point. But as they say, foreign policy is always on autopilot. So we'll see as to what more the government plans to do and how to energize its existing policies.
All right, we leave it at that. Jessica, thank you. Jessica Taneja reporting there from New Delhi. Now, Rashtrapati Bhavan, the residence of India's president, has been decorated for the inauguration of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The sprawling building has been transformed into a visual delight with a colourful lights display enhancing the splendour of the occasion. Preparations are on in full swing for the ceremony as the historic venue is adorned with intricate lights and vibrant decorations that reflect India's rich cultural heritage. An Indian sand artist, Sudarshan Patnaik, created a sand art congratulating Narendra Modi ahead of his swearing-in ceremony. The sand sculpture features a portrait of Narendra Modi accompanied by celebratory messages marking his third consecutive win. Patnaik, known for his large-scale sand art, created this masterpiece on the beaches of Puri in Odisha. DD India's Vishal Baristo speaks to Professor Gulshan Sachdeva of the Jawaharlal Nehru University in New Delhi about Prime Minister designate Narendra Modi's third consecutive term in office. Take a listen.
The third consecutive victory of Prime Minister Narendra Modi says a lot. I have with me Professor Sachdeva, who is here at the School of International Studies in JNU. Let's talk to him and find out. Professor Sachdeva, how do you interpret things?
Well, I think what is happening in India, everybody is watching very, very carefully because India is one of the largest economy today, one of the fastest growing economy today. India was always a big country, India was always a democratic country, but what has really happened in the last, say, 10, 20 years now, it's strong economic growth. As a result of this, it's not just only Indian economy is growing fast, but this has also given, a lot of other countries also looking at economic opportunities in India.
After Second World War, there have been many state heads who have been leading their country for the third time, including Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, whose popularity dipped in the third term. So how do you see things here?
Now the world is looking at much bigger responsibilities from India. The global institutions are not working. That's the major worry today. If you look at the global economic institutions, global political institutions, whether you look at the UN, whether you look at WTO, whether you look at WHO, so all inefficiencies, all these institutions are very clear. There are very crises happening at the moment in the world. You have the Ukraine war, you have the problem in the Middle East. So it means, India can also play a very important role in all these hotspots. So I think everyone is looking and I think Prime Minister Modi has also given leadership role to India, not just in India and also at the global affairs. So I think it's very important for it.
The rise of Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been because of his decisive leadership and the mandate that he got so far. With cameraman Yogesh in Delhi, this is Vishal Baristo for DD India.
Now, Narendra Modi is going to take oath as Prime Minister for the third consecutive time on Sunday after being the Prime Minister for a decade. Before that, he was also the Chief Minister of the state of Gujarat for 13 years. So, overall, he has held a position of power in the state and in the national level for 23 years, which is a record in itself.
The National Democratic Alliance government under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi has come to power for the third time. With this historic victory, Narendra Modi has become the leader who has ruled the longest as head of an elected government. Till Thursday, Narendra Modi has served as head of an elected government for 8,279 days. That means as head of a government, he has ruled for more than 8,000 days. This includes the days he held the post of Chief Minister of Gujarat along with the central government. In this way, Narendra Modi has been the head of power in the state and centre for a total of 23 years. Narendra Modi was the Chief Minister of Gujarat continuously from 2001 to 2014, while from May 2014 till now, he is holding the post of Prime Minister of the country. The second leader to hold the post of head of power for the longest period was the country's first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru. Although he was not the Chief Minister of any state, but he became the first PM of the country. He held the power at the centre for a total of 6,130 days. After the independence of the country, he was made the Prime Minister. Nehru was the Prime Minister of India continuously from 1947 to 1964. He held power for 16 years and 286 days.
प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी का ये जो तीसरा कार्यकाल शुरू हो रहा है वह 2014 और 2019 से भी बड़ी जीत है और इस मायने में हम जरूर याद कर सकते हैं जवाहरलाल नेहरू को, लेकिन जवाहरलाल नेहरू से कोई तुलना नहीं है। तुलना इसलिए नहीं है क्योंकि वो स्वाभाविक रूप से एक स्वतंत्रता संग्राम का जो मंच था कांग्रेस, उसके नेता थे, जबकि प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी साधारण जन से निकले हुए नेता हैं और जिनको जनता का विश्वास प्राप्त है।
A new page will be added in the history of Varanasi parliamentary seat as soon as Narendra Modi takes oath as Prime Minister for the third time. With this, Varanasi will be the second seat in UP from where MP elected for the third consecutive time will become the Prime Minister. Earlier, this record was in the name of Phulpur seat of Prayagraj and the country's first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Lucknow and Rai Bareli seats also have been special for the post of Prime Minister. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, who won the elections from Lucknow seat, could not become the Prime Minister for 3 consecutive times, while former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi could not win the elections from Rai Bareli seat for the 3rd consecutive time. Not only this, PM Modi's victory for the 3rd time is also special in the sense that he is the only leader of India who has won 3 consecutive elections and has maintained his vote share in each election. In India, still now, only Jawaharlal Nehru has been able to win 3 consecutive elections. PM Modi is the second leader after Nehru to do so. If we talk about the vote percentage, Jawaharlal Nehru got 45% in 1952, 47.8% in 1957 and 44.7% in 1962, whereas Narendra Modi-led NDA got 38.5% in 2014, 44.9% in 2019 and 43.82% votes in 2024. The vote percentage for Nehru increased in the second general elections in 1957 compared to the first general elections held in 1952. But by 1962, Nehru's popularity declined, which was also reflected in the results of the third general election held in 1962. In the third general elections, Nehru's vote percentage went below even that of 1952. The story was repeated in the seats won also. In this sense, Prime Minister Modi's victory is also important as he is the only leader of India who has won 3 consecutive elections and has also maintained his vote share in each election. In the 1984 general elections, Rajiv Gandhi, riding on the sympathy wave generated after the assassination of Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, had succeeded in winning the highest ever 414 seats out of 541 seats with 49.1 vote share. In contrast, the National Democratic Alliance NDA, led by Narendra Modi, had won 352 seats in 2019 with 45% vote share. In this, Bharatiya Janata Party alone was successful in winning 303 seats. The fundamental difference between Rajiv Gandhi's victory and PM Modi's victory can be understood from the fact that Rajiv Gandhi's victory was a result of sympathy arising from the assassination of Indira Gandhi, whereas Prime Minister's victory was a result of public support for his governance and party's manifesto. Bureau Report, DT India.
The India Meteorological Department has announced a notable increase in rainfall activity along the coastal regions of Karnataka and Maharashtra. It's issued a red alert for Sindhudurg in Maharashtra. According to the forecast, heavy rainfall is expected to impact several states. Heavy to moderate rain to batter many parts of India as well. And Yogesh Sheetal joins us from Maharashtra for more on this developing story. Yogesh, good morning to you. What more can you tell us about an alert issued by the Mumbai Regional Office of the India Meteorological Department?
Good morning, Ramesh. As far as alerts are concerned, let me tell you that particularly Mumbai, Thane, Palghar and Ratnagiri, these are 4 basic regions. You can see the districts where the alert has been issued. Yellow alert has been issued. For Sindhudurg on 11th June, heavy to extremely heavy rainfall is expected and orange alert has been issued for that region. We know that Mumbai is a city which is always running on the wheels, and that's the region particularly in Mumbai local, and that's the region all the agencies including railway, including MMRDA, Mumbai Metro, apart from that also the BMC, the civic body which looks after the entire things in Mumbai. All the agencies are on standby and are just geared up for the situation which is expected in the weeks to come. Coming particularly to the different arrangements in Mumbai, all 227 wards, that is civic wards, a separate team has been set up, and also the call center emergency helpline number has also been issued, and the social media has also been very activated by the agency. Apart from Mumbai, coming to Pune, June 10 deadline has been set up by the Pune authority to ensure that all the potholes have been properly taken care of, and if any complaint is there, that will promptly be taken care of by the concerned authority. Coming to other aspect, also we know that Matheran, which is one of the famous tourist spots, particularly for the Mumbaikars and also for the other part of the country, people visit there often. That has been shut completely. The service has been suspended for the toy train from yesterday to 15th of October, because in monsoon it's a very risky. Apart from these things, let me tell you the one of the most important parts in monsoon. There are 2,995 reservoir in Maharashtra, which basically supply water to different regions. Now the water was significantly, the level of water was significantly down of the last couple of months because of scorching heat and summer. But yes, now we can expect, as soon as monsoon advances, we can expect the things would be restored, the water level would be increased, and that would be a major spike for the people in Maharashtra.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Yogesh, thank you. Yogesh Sheetal reporting there from Mumbai. All right, now take a look at what else is making news in India. India's National Testing Agency has said that the National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test Undergraduate 2024 was transparently conducted and that there was no paper leak. The test is a countrywide examination held once a year for students who wish to pursue a degree in medicine. The tourist spot of Manali in Himachal Pradesh received a fresh snow, bringing respite from intense heat. The upper reaches of the state received fresh snowfall. The weather department predicted more snow and rain in coming days. A 5-year-old injured leopard was rescued by the Forest Department and later released after a medical examination, allowing the leopard to recover fully. The move highlights the ongoing efforts to protect and rehabilitate wildlife in the region. Time for a very short break here on this DD India News Hour. Keep watching News Hour. Don't go anywhere.
मैं नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूं, भारत के संविधान के प्रति सच्ची श्रद्धा और निष्ठा रखूंगा। मैं नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी संघ के प्रधानमंत्री के रूप में अपने कर्तव्यों का श्रद्धापूर्वक और शुद्ध अंतःकरण से निर्वहन करूंगा। पहली 3 इकोनॉमीज में एक नाम भारत का होगा।
मेरे शरीर का हर कण, मेरे समय का हर क्षण देश को ही समर्पित है।
देश का विश्वास पक्का हो गया है कि अब भारत की विकास यात्रा रुकने वाली नहीं है।
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. A quick recap of the headlines. Narendra Modi to take oath as India's Prime Minister for a historic 3rd consecutive term. South Asian and African leaders begin arriving in New Delhi for Narendra Modi's inauguration. European Parliament election to conclude on Sunday. It will shape the 27-nation bloc's future for next 5 years. And India to play against Pakistan in the ICC Men's T20 Cricket World Cup on Sunday. Voters in 21 European Union countries, including France and Germany, will conclude a 4-day election for the European Parliament on Sunday. It will define the EU Parliament's political makeup for the next 5 years. The election will shape how the bloc of 450 million citizens confronts challenges such as a hostile Russia, increased industrial rivalry from China, climate change and immigration. Results are expected around 11:45 p.m. India time or 18:15 GMT. And DD India's Ross Cullen has more from Paris.
Millions of French voters are going to the polls today, Sunday the 9th of June, to cast their ballots for who they want to represent them as their MEP or member of the European Parliament for the next 5 years in Brussels. All the pre-election polls had the National Rally in first place in France, set to get around 30 to 35% of the vote if those pre-election surveys do turn out to be correct. The National Rally are a populist nationalist movement, a far-right party led by young Jordan Bardella, but with Marine Le Pen as their most recognisable politician. Emmanuel Macron, the president, will be hoping for a much better performance from his party than the polls have been predicting, set to give him and his Renaissance party around 15% of the vote, also 15% for the socialist grouping being led by leftist MP Raphael Glucksmann. Now, across the whole EU, in a broader context, we also have the race to be the next president of the European Commission. Ursula von der Leyen has been doing that job since 2019, and she is running for another 5-year term, hoping to win that race to be the next de facto leader of the European Union. The polls across the whole of the 27-member bloc will be closing on Sunday evening, and then late on Sunday into early hours of Monday local time here in Europe, we should start to get a sense of the results. Ross Cullen in Paris reporting for DD India.
And across the Atlantic, the number of immigrants caught illegally crossing the US-Mexico border dropped on Friday. It signaled that a new US government policy was deterring illegal immigration. The US border guards arrested more than 3,000 illegal immigrants, down 20% from the day before. Immigration has emerged as a top issue for the US voters in the months before the 5th November US presidential election. Meanwhile, UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's Conservative Party, facing an election next month, announced details of its plan to tighten sickness benefit rules. The government said that the rules would eventually save more than $15 billion a year. Sunak, who has previously said that he wants to change welfare rules to counter a rise in people dropping out of the workforce, said that his reforms represented a moral mission as well as a way to help fix the public finances. The plan included an increase in mental health services, more stringent assessments of people's ability to work, and tougher rules for people who refuse to take up suitable jobs. Haiti's new interim Prime Minister Gary Conille has hospitalized with respiratory issues on Saturday but appeared to be in a stable condition. Conille, who took office just over a week ago, was rushed to hospital after suffering breathing problems. The 58-year-old had briefly led the country over a decade ago and was most recently a former regional director at UN Children's Agency UNICEF. He was named interim Prime Minister on 29th of May by a transition council with the mandate to restore stability and take back control from violent gangs. Ireland's two main coalition parties look set to soundly beat Sinn Féin in local council election. It seems to be a surprising and potentially devastating blow to the left-wing party's hope of its first victory in national election due by March. Failing to enter government for the first time would be a setback to Sinn Féin's ambition of seeking a referendum on unifying with Northern Ireland. Counting will continue on Sunday along with the first results for the European Parliament election. Voting took place on Friday as more than 2,100 candidates vied for 949 seats on 31 local councils. Virgin Galactic's VSS Unity space plane conducted its 32nd and the final commercial mission on Saturday, taking 4 astronauts on a suborbital space flight. The tourist astronauts could be seen floating in microgravity and looking to breathtaking views of the Earth. The mission took off from and returned to Spaceport America in New Mexico on Saturday. The flight to the edge of space and back marked Virgin Galactic's second flight this year. This was the 7th commercial flight for VSS Unity and the 12th flight overall. The company will now focus on building its first Delta-class ships that are expected to be used commercially in 2026. The Paintbrush Art Community, a collective of Indian diaspora artists, hosted an exhibition titled Retro Revival in the United Arab Emirates. This cross-cultural artistic endeavor brings together 22 artists from 8 countries to pay homage to iconic Paramount movies from Hollywood's golden era. The exhibition features 26 artworks spanning vibrant paintings that revisit beloved films such as The Terminator, Titanic, The Godfather, Sleepy Hollow, Tomb Raider and Top Gun. Retro Revival goes beyond the silver screen with artistic depictions of iconic figures such as Marilyn Monroe, Michael Jackson and Bob Marley.
A lot of international attendance is coming to Dubai to witness the art scene that is booming here as part of Art Dubai, World Art Dubai, Design District, and all these things are being put together to encourage art from all sorts of people who are residing in Dubai. So it is also a great opportunity for people among the Indian diaspora as me as well to showcase our talents and to grow with the growing art scene of Dubai.
US astronauts Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore offered a tour around the Boeing Starliner that docked at the International Space Station. The flight test will help validate the transportation system, launch pad, rocket, spacecraft, in-orbit operations capabilities and return to Earth with astronauts aboard as the agency prepares to certify Starliner for rotational missions to the space station. Starliner previously flew 2 uncrewed orbital flights, including a test to and from the space station, along with a pad abort demonstration. And now take a look at what else is making news around the world. A seaplane attempting to take off collided with a passenger boat on Saturday near Cole Harbour in Canada. Several individuals from both vessels were injured and subsequently transported to local hospitals for treatment. Thousands of dead fish blanketed the surface of a lagoon in Mexico. It happened during a long, dry spell as temperatures climbed above 40 degrees Celsius. Some form of drought is afflicting nearly 90% of the country, the highest rate since 2011. A monument to a Mercedes-Benz car gets unveiled in Croatia, honoring the thousands of migrant workers who sought better fortunes and returned home driving the German car, seen as a symbol of success. Rescuers continued searching for a British TV presenter, Michael Mosley, on the mountainous Greek island of Simi, the third day of an operation launched after he was reported missing by his wife. Police, Coast Guard and volunteers alike have been searching on and off the island in the eastern Aegean. And now to all the news from the world of sport. India will aim to capitalize on an unpredictable Pakistan's vulnerabilities and unfamiliarity with the tricky conditions in New York City when the traditional rivals face off in a T20 Cricket World Cup clash on Sunday. The match starts at 8 p.m. India time or 14:30 GMT. Tapas Bhattacharya reports.
It's a sporting rivalry like no other. This weekend, cricket giants India and Pakistan are set to clash in a historic match in New York for the ongoing ICC Men's T20 Cricket World Cup. For the first time ever, these neighboring nations will face off on US soil as the T20 tournament makes its American debut. Both India and Pakistan have claimed the T20 World Cup once. India, the inaugural edition in 2007 and Pakistan in 2009. These teams have collided 7 times in the T20 World Cup. India have dominated with 6 victories, including a thrilling bowl-out and a grand finale in 2007 and Virat Kohli's sensational heist in Melbourne in 2022. Pakistan's lone win came in 2021, where they shattered India's World Cup winning streak with a dominant performance in Dubai. As India takes the field, they are driven by a thirst for a major trophy, their last being the 2013 Champions Trophy. With Rohit Sharma at the helm, Virat Kohli's experience and Surya Kumar Yadav's explosive batting and the explosive bowling by Bumrah, the men in blue are ready to ignite the stage. On the other side, Pakistan, led by the consistent Babar Azam, is on a mission for redemption. With the batting lineup anchored by Azam and Mohammad Rizwan and the youthful energy of Saim Ayub, their ambitions are clear. Their fierce bowling attack led by Shaheen Afridi blends pace with experience, making them a formidable opponent. The stage is set. The players are ready. The world watches as India and Pakistan gear up for the battle like no other in a city that never sleeps. Tune in to witness history in the making. This is Taposh Bhattacharya along with my camera person S. Jaishankar reporting live from New York.
And DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya joins us from New York City. Tapas, how well is the Indian team prepared for the game against Pakistan?
Right in their first practice match after the Ireland match, and we saw the Indian team came out and they were practicing with a lot of intent. The idea was to mimic the way the pitch was behaving, and they were kind of quite happy the way the result came out. Both the top order batsmen, Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma, spent a considerable amount of time in the middle to assess and judge the scenario. After that, we saw Rishabh Pant and Surya Kumar Yadav also spend a lot of time. The bowlers also made sure that they know where to bowl, bowl at right line and length, because we saw in the match against Ireland, some of the bowlers, especially some left arm seamer was a little wayward. So in that sense, the bowlers also had a long spell in the net, and they look confident. The body language of the Indian team looked confident, and when we spoke to the Indian captain Rohit Sharma in the press conference, he said that they are taking every match as it is and not bothering about the fact that it is against Pakistan, the arch rival. And yes, there is a pressure about even if you don't speak about that, there is definitely the pressure that comes. But he mentioned the fact that they want to go each game as it is. And not just that, they said that it is imperative for every player to assess a match at that particular time. In fact, they want to go about each over wise, and it's not just that think about the match in a 20 over format. So those are the things that the Indian team have been talking about, working hard. The body language looked really good. This particular Indian team looked very well balanced on paper. You have let's say Akshar Patel coming at number 8. That also gives you a lot of depth in the team, in the bowling department, the batting department. You have 4 all-rounders. You have Shivam Dubey, you have Hardik Pandya as your pace bowling all-rounder. Then you have Akshar Patel, Ravindra Jadeja taking care of the spin department. So in that sense, you have that well-balanced side. You might find a slight change in the playing 11. One might see Kuldeep Yadav to give variety to the team. But again, we will have to wait for the final playing 11 when it comes out. But as of now, on paper, India looks to be the better team among the two neighboring giants. For Pakistan, it's a make or break time. So for India, they are very confident against their tie, and history is with them. In the T20 World Cup, so far 7 matches have been played. 6 have been won by them. So they are banking on the history to come good once again.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Tapas, thank you. Tapas Bhattacharya reporting there from New York City. Meanwhile, Australia beat arch rival and defending champion England by 36 runs in its second match of the ICC T20 Cricket World Cup on Saturday. Chasing 202 runs, the Joss Buttler-led team fell behind the moment Adam Zampa dismissed Phil Salt and Butler. England managed only 165 for 6 in 20 overs. Pat Cummins, who missed the opening contest against Oman, took 2 wickets. To tennis now, top-seeded Iga Swiatek of Poland on Saturday beat Italy's Jasmine Paolini in straight sets in the women's singles final to clinch her third consecutive French Open title in Paris. Swiatek beat Paolini 6-2, 6-1 in just 68 minutes to grab her fourth Roland Garros title. The 23-year-old has now won all 5 Grand Slam finals she has contested. Her other victory came at the 2022 US Open. Swiatek carried a 20-match French Open winning streak into the final against the 12th-seeded Paolini. Meanwhile, Alexander Zverev will play against Carlos Alcaraz in the French Open men's final on Sunday. Alcaraz reached his maiden French Open final on Friday. The 21-year-old came out on top against second seed Yannick Sinner, beating the Italian 2-6, 6-3, 3-6, 6-4 and 6-3. Roland Garros is a competition very close to Alcaraz's heart, and he sure wants to add this name to the list of Spanish players who have won at the tournament. Meanwhile, Zverev recovered from a slow start to beat Casper Ruud. France is planning to try to restrict children's access to social media. The French president says young people are at risk from harm online. Emmanuel Macron asked a commission of experts to examine the risks to children of spending too much time on screens, and they have recommendations for a new legislation. DD India's Ross Cullen has more from Paris.
From social media to online gaming and watching videos, screens now dominate a large part of our lives. But it's the impact on children's development that is worrying the French government. In a major speech last month, the French president said that the legal age for using social media should be no younger than 15.
And today, for several hours a day, we open the door to the jungle. And that same person could be a victim of cyberbullying or subject to pornographic material or pedocriminality. That's what the online space is, because it's not regulated and it is not moderated either.
In April, a survey by French public health authorities showed that 2-year-olds in France spend about an hour a day in front of a screen. For child psychiatrist Anne Siniquier, it's a problem that must be addressed.
These screens are a bit hypnotic for children. There is lots of light, movement, bright colors, lots of sound. I mean, just look at a child watching TV. You can call them 100 times, and they won't respond in any way because they are completely hypnotized.
In 2023, the government said it wanted to introduce prevention messages on computers, tablets and phones to advise consumers in a similar way to the warnings on tobacco products. And protecting young people from too much screen time has cross-party support. Earlier this year, the opposition Republican Party tabled a bill calling for a ban on screens in nurseries for children under 3. Some of the new laws could include no screens for the under 3s, smartphones only being allowed for those under the age of 13, and a recommendation not to use Instagram or TikTok if you're under the age of 18. Ross Cullen in Paris, reporting for DD India.
And going back to the top story before we close, the Rashtrapati Bhavan, the official residence of India's president in New Delhi, is all decked up for the big day. Final round of preparations are on for the oath ceremony of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of DD India News Up. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code on the screen to download it. Okay, so let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X and Instagram. You can also check out our website ddindia.co.in. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran from all of us here in New Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.